What is up, YouTube? How are you? We're going to be taking a look at this fine piece of ancient tech. It's considered a classic these days, being that it's an 86. It's, what, 33 years old or so? Anyways, we'll get into it. So this here, nice flat blackness, I put it on there just because I had a can of Plasti Dip floating around, so I played with it. Okay, so first thing you need to understand about older vehicles, whether it's car, truck, whatever, if it's old, there's going to be some little tricks to them. And we'll just say this one, along with many others, takes two hands to open that hood. You have to depress it a little bit to get some weight off the hook here because, well, look at it. Let's talk about the beautiful grill that's on here. No, it wasn't on there when I bought it. I actually acquired that grill through a guy on a forum on Facebook. So, I love it. I love the grill. It wasn't perfect when I bought it. It's not perfect now. Although I did my own little touch. I kind of cleaned it up and put a little black on there, but I want that frame to rust out a little bit more before I go ahead and start sealing that up so it doesn't eat up even more. Now when I had it off of here, when I had the original grill off, I went ahead and I cleaned up as much as I could inside, and I put a nice coat of black caliper paint on all of this. Everything in here's got some caliper paint on it, and even the headlight bezels I took out, wired them off. Yeah, you can see where there's some spots I still need to clean up. Not bad though. The interior, right, it looks great. The seat is in incredible shape. I mean, look at, there's a little bit of stainage, but that can easily lift out. I think this is about the extent of the damage that you can find on this bench. So whoever was here was not a slider. They like to sit up and get in there, or most of this stuff came from a much larger Ford truck, because they ran these interiors up until like 96, I think, and the bigger F700s and stuff. So, right, let's get over on the interior details. Doesn't work, doesn't work, doesn't work, does work. Sort of got it to work, and then the needle fell. That actually still works. All the lights up here still work. Your dummy lights and all that, surprisingly enough. There's just bad wires everywhere to deal with. You have your typical bullnose, busted out dash pad. But, you know, when it comes to that, I can still say this held up way better than the Dodge Ram. Sorry. Y'all didn't deserve that. But you know it's true. We've had a bad paint job in the past where they just sprayed really bad mask off, and it's not hard to mask, it's just tape. They didn't bother to pull the door panel off. I mean, I would have pulled the door panel off to paint the whole door, but it was just it's a fly-by-night situation. I think plenty to deal with. Like these things, why don't I have the other end? The other truck's got it. I don't, maybe not, I don't, man. Anyways, tons to deal with. That needs replaced because that's plexiglass. Everything in here is good. No rat's nests. Just got my little backup stuff. That's a nice little drill bit, but I got my old spark plugs to compare to the ones when I pull them out of here. You know, you never have too many thermostats when your truck keeps overheating, or an additional lug nut, because you never know when you need a nut. We'll find out if that works. This does work, although not great. The blend door, it's fudged. It just blows defrost. There's no, like, real off feature unless you're completely on low and on off. So we've got some weird stuff. I hooked that up with this right here. That's the power wire, and it immediately exploded a breaker. So we've got a problem there. Brake controller, it works fine, does its job, it's okay. That might be a Bartow Ford option, not sure. But it looks like it's upside down anyways. So let's sneak underneath here and just kind of bask in the glory of what the heck is happening here. Nobody really knows. But, oh, oops. Well, that's a thing, you know? Oh, we'll get through it together somehow. Oh, ground, pull the ground. Oh, pull the ground. Well, maybe not. Okay, let's do a quick rundown here. I've put the original equipment back on. He had the points condenser type distributor on here. He deleted the mechanical advance curve on there somehow. Didn't bother with it. That was still here, so I put it back in with new cap, new rotor, plug and wires, good to go. That was still functioning, so whatever. That is just for display purposes only. Thermostat wound up going bad on me. Replaced it, wound up going bad on me again. Yanked that off, cleaned it out, cracked it back on there. No thermostat in there at the time because I'm currently cleaning out the coolant system. Got some chemicals in there and whatnot. Water pump was leaking like a sieve where the lower radiator hose meets up. So at one point in time, I cleaned up the water pump fitting, and the hose I had to cut back. This is a roadside repair, but I had to cut it back a little bit, giving myself enough room to put it back on. I limped it home. The next day, there was Shrek's donkey living in this radiator, and he wanted out. He was just kicking and kicking. And did I say he was kicking? Because it sounded like there was a mule in here just kicking. That started puking out really badly. Bunch of people telling me I had head gasket issues, etc. That wasn't true. It was this getting clogged up with all the rust from that flowing through and going out of this. So once this was replaced, that water pump was replaced, and that was repaired, you know, no more coolant issues. So chem cleaning. This leaked like crazy. You can still see some residue where it was leaking. I sprayed it down, kind of gave it a little nylon brush, cleaned it ish, rebuilt that. Works wonderful. After the distributor and a little bit of vacuum play stuff, I got the PCV hooked up, but this crap, you know, evap system, etc., it's toasted. It's only like sort of mostly here. Whatever, we'll get to it. The head, definitely not off of an 80s block. That's the 90s, mid-90s style head, because that's the only time they had the heat tubes in there to help distribute. Anyways, we got to decode this and figure out what's going on in here. Electricals, yes, we have headaches to deal with all over the truck. All over the truck has headaches. That's about all I've done. Right, so solenoid wound up frying out, and if you've had that happen, it's going to happen in one of two ways. Mine, both times, have happened with that thing getting stuck, whining that starter out like crazy. So the only way to do it, disconnect your battery, it'll stop, no juice, no flow. So with all that being said, I think we'll start talking about this one next. Then we might get into wrenching, or we might do wrenching before we get into this one. I need some knowledge from a comment section. Let me know what you want to see, or I'm just going to do what I feel like doing and hope you ride along with me.